Hello and welcome back to another in-depth weather video. Today we're going to be talking about Tropical Depression 28, which has formed in the Caribbean Sea. Now, if this does form, it would be Tropical Storm Zeta. Now, let's move on here to the current system here. 28. That is unbelievable. 30-mile-an-hour maximum sustained winds, 1,005 millibar minimum central pressure, and is moving north-northwest at 2 miles an hour. Now, moving on here to the warnings and cone, we can see here that the National Hurricane Center is expecting this to become a Category 1 hurricane, but make landfall as a tropical storm. We already have tropical storm watches in place for western Cuba. Moving on here to the arrival time of winds with wind speed probabilities turned on, we can see the highest probability of tropical storm force winds on the Gulf Coast is in southeastern Louisiana. It is possible that Louisiana sees yet another landfall in their state, but right now expect to be a tropical storm at that point. Other than that, the highest points are in the western part of Cuba and the eastern Yucatan Peninsula. Now, let's move on here to the satellite imagery. So, we can see that center rotation there, some outer bands producing thunderstorms on both sides. But other than that, it's a very small center with a lot of outer bands. So, gonna be mostly a rain threat for this. Winds are not gonna be the main threat. They're still a threat, but not the main threat. The main threat is that rain. Now let's move on to the current storm information. So we're going to go down to the global and hurricane models, where we could see much more consensus. A couple of these models putting it over the Yucatan, a few putting it over Cuba, but generally we're looking at this general area for landfall from Louisiana to the Panhandle of Florida. Moving on here to the GFS, you can see about the same spot. This is having it making landfall in Louisiana, going back over water and making landfall in Mississippi. The GEPS showing this making landfall in Louisiana, moving back out to sea, making landfall in Louisiana again. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think that we'll probably see a track such as this, where it clips the mouth of the Mississippi River, moves back over the water, and then makes landfall in either Mississippi or Alabama. But most importantly, the intensity guidance. Now, few of these models are suggesting a Category 1 to form, most showing a tropical storm. Now, the cluster here is pretty consistent. You have two of them. One keeping it a tropical depression, one bringing it to a tropical storm within the next 24 to 36 hours. From there, both of these clusters separate. The tropical storm path has it either topping out as a stronger tropical storm or making that break into a hurricane. The tropical depression cluster here either has it completely dying or maintaining a slight to moderate tropical storm strength. So a lot of variety right now, and that'll get shored up as it happens. Just quickly on weather nerds here, the European model is showing much more of a westward path here, having it make landfall in south central to southeast Louisiana. But moving on here, models. So here is 28. So now the GFS is not showing much here, but if we go to the Canadian, it's showing something a little bit more defined there. So I think there's a lot of variables with this storm. There's low temperatures, there's shear, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So there's a lot of things that this has to go through. So there are so many variables. So we just have to keep an eye on this system. There's nothing definite right now. If the area becomes more favorable, it can rapidly intensify. If it stays the way it is, it'll probably get to that low category 1 strength. And if things intensify, and as of shear and the temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico decrease, then this might just become a tropical storm for a little bit and then just die off. So stay tuned. I will be making daily updates on starting Monday, because tomorrow is a deep dive day. So Monday I'll have more on this system, and hopefully we see a little bit more consistency as what will happen. But that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.